48 hours. That may be all Eala gets between the greatest victory of her career and the next opponent waiting to test whether that victory can travel. On Monday, she stood in Washington with the first WTA singles trophy ever won by a player from the Philippines. On Wednesday, she has to walk onto center court in Toronto and begin again. The stadium is sold out. The opponent is Alycia Parks. And this is not a random second-round match. 6 months earlier at the Australian Open, Eala won the first set against Parks without losing a single game. 6-0. Total control. Then the match changed. Parks found her serve, shortened the rallies, and won the next 2 sets. Eala left Melbourne after winning more total points and creating more break chances. Parks left with the victory. Now they meet again at the strangest possible moment. Eala arrives as a new champion. She also arrives with tired legs, rushed preparation, and almost no time to understand what just happened. Parks arrives with the memory of escaping that match in Melbourne. The crowd arrives expecting another chapter of Eala history. That is why Toronto matters. This is not only a test of recovery, it is a test of whether the version of Eala that survived Washington can solve the exact problem that once broke her rhythm. The easy story says momentum will carry her. The easy story says a champion should feel unstoppable. But tennis does not protect a player after a great week. It sends the next opponent. It starts the scoreboard at 0. It asks the body to move before the celebration is finished. So what do those 48 hours really take away? And what do they leave behind? Because Eala may have less rest than almost anyone in Toronto, she may also have more belief. Washington changed the status of Eala in 1 week. It also compressed everything that should have happened before Toronto. This was not a short run through an easy draw. Zheng Qinwen brought explosive power. Leylah Fernandez brought speed, defense, and the energy of a defending champion. Elina Svitolina brought experience, discipline, and patience. Naomi Osaka brought 4 Grand Slam titles and one of the most dangerous hard court attacks of her generation. Then Jessica Pegula waited in the final. World number 3. Top seed, American soil, an American crowd, and a match that refused to follow a normal schedule. Rain interrupted the final on Sunday. Eala had to prepare, compete, stop, recover, sleep, prepare again, and return on Monday with the tension still unfinished. That process matters. A normal match has one clear rise and one clear finish. The body warms up, the mind enters competition, the match ends. Recovery begins. Washington broke that rhythm. Eala had to rise toward the final twice. She had to carry the scoreboard into another day. She had to wake up knowing the biggest match of her career was still incomplete. Then she returned and finished it. Pegula won the first set 6-4. Eala won the second set 6-4. Then Eala won the final set 6-0. The strongest set she played was the last set of the entire tournament. That made history. It also started the next countdown. The trophy ceremony did not create more time. The interviews did not stop the schedule. The photographs did not delay Toronto. There was treatment, there was packing, there was travel to Canada. There was a new hotel, a new court, a new stadium, and a new opponent. 48 hours sounds like 2 full days. It is not 2 full days of recovery. Part of that time belongs to sleep. Part belongs to travel. Part belongs to media. Part belongs to treatment. Part belongs to practice and tactical preparation. The real recovery window becomes much smaller. That is the hidden cost of winning. Players who lost early in Washington gained days. Eala gained a trophy and a deadline. The first round bye in Toronto helped. As the number 25 seed, Eala did not have to play immediately after arriving. But the delay in Washington consumed much of that protection. The bye did not create a comfortable break. It prevented the schedule from becoming even more severe, and Toronto offers no quiet landing. This is a WTA 1000 tournament. The field is deeper. The attention is greater. The crowd is already waiting. Center courts sold out almost immediately after the schedule was announced. That tells us something about the size of the moment. Fans are not coming only to see a new champion. They are coming to see whether the run continues. They are coming to see whether the energy from Washington can survive the flight north. They are coming to see Eala face the player who turned one of her best starts into one of her most confusing defeats. The atmosphere can help Eala. Philippine flags can make the stadium feel familiar. Every strong return can become louder. Every breakpoint can feel larger. But support also creates expectation. Before Washington, Eala could still enter some matches as the dangerous young player trying to break through. After Washington, she enters as a champion. Opponents prepare differently for champions. They study return positions. They study favorite directions. They study defensive habits. They study what happens under pressure. Every match in Washington gave future opponents fresh evidence. The title made Eala more respected. It also made her patterns more visible. Parks will not arrive without a plan. She has already played this matchup. She already knows how quickly the first version of the match can turn against her. She also knows she survived it. That combination creates confidence. It also creates caution. Parks remembers the victory. She also remembers losing 6 straight games before finding a way back. She knows Eala can read her serve. She knows Eala can move her away from comfortable contact. She knows long and organized rallies can become dangerous. That is why Parks will try to remove structure again. Her game creates a very different challenge from Eala. Eala builds pressure through balance, placement, and consistency. Parks can erase the rally with one serve. She can produce an ace. She can force a weak return. She can attack the next ball before Eala establishes control. That is dangerous for a tired player. Eala creates pressure through movement, angles, and repeated decisions. She wants the opponent to hit one more ball, then another, then one more, from an uncomfortable position. Parks wants the point to end early. Eala often becomes more dangerous as the point develops. This is a battle over the length and shape of every exchange. Their match in Melbourne showed both sides. The first set belonged completely to Eala. She returned low. She changed direction early. She forced Parks to strike while moving. The serve lost its impact because the next ball kept arriving from an uncomfortable position. Then Parks changed the match. She found more first serves. She accepted more risk. She attacked earlier. She stopped trying to win the same kind of points. The rallies became shorter. Eala lost the time she needed to create angles. Parks eventually recorded 12 aces. She also made 10 double faults. That tells us she was never completely stable. Eala created 17 break points. Parks created 8. Both players converted 4. Eala won 83 total points. Parks won 81. Parks still won the match. The total point count did not decide the result. The location of those points did. Eala gathered a large advantage during the 6-0 opening set. Parks won fewer points overall, but more of them arrived when the second and third sets were balanced. She won the moments that changed games. She survived the breakpoints that could have changed the match. That is the problem waiting in Toronto. Eala already knows she can create chances against the serve of Parks. The challenge is what happens when those chances disappear. A missed breakpoint can create urgency. Urgency can reduce margin. One rushed return can become one rushed service game. That pattern appeared in Melbourne. The response in Washington looked different. Against Fernandez, Eala fell behind 5-1 in the second set. The scoreboard moved quickly. The pressure increased. Eala did not try to recover everything with one shot. She rebuilt the set one game at a time. She reached the tiebreak. Then she won it 7-1. Against Eala, she lost the first set of the final. She did not chase the entire comeback in the first game of the second set. She accepted that the opening set was gone. She created pressure gradually. A deeper return. A longer rally. A cleaner hold. One small advantage placed on top of another. That is the exact skill Melbourne demanded. The ability to let one finished game remain finished. The ability to let one lost set remain lost. The ability to adjust before frustration becomes a new problem. Washington does not guarantee that skill will survive Toronto. The body may still collect its price. The first danger may not appear in the opening games. Eala may look sharp early. She may strike cleanly. She may move with energy. The real test may arrive later. One step slower toward the forehand. One serve that loses speed. One defensive ball that lands short. At WTA 1000 level, a small physical drop can change a set. The longer the match lasts, the more the advantage of rest can grow. That makes the opening hour important. Eala does not need to play recklessly. She needs to play efficiently. Clean service games, clear targets. No unnecessary emotional battles. No long argument with a missed opportunity. The goal is not to win every point quickly. The goal is to avoid spending energy on points that are already gone. There is also another side to the 48-hour problem. Eala arrives tired. She also arrives with the sharpest competitive rhythm of her career. Parks may be fresher. Eala may be more ready for pressure. Practice cannot perfectly reproduce a real scoreboard. Breakpoint changes decisions. Set point changes breathing. Crowd noise changes timing. Eala has lived inside those moments for an entire week. She has recent evidence. She has survived power. She has survived defense. She has survived weather. She has survived a delayed final. She has survived losing the first set against the world number 3. That experience does not disappear on the flight to Toronto. It travels with her. Confidence is not magic. It does not win points by itself, but it changes choices. A confident player sees a narrow opening and attacks with commitment. A doubtful player sees the same opening and hesitates. 48 hours may be too short for full recovery. It may also be too short for belief to fade. That is the hidden advantage. Eala does not need to remember what elite pressure feels like. She felt it on Monday. She does not need to convince herself that she belongs. Washington answered that question. The danger is using that confidence without becoming trapped by the need to prove Washington again. Eala does not have to perform like a champion in every game. She does not have to replay the final. She does not have to make every rally look important. She has to begin at 0. One serve, one return, one decision. That is how the match becomes manageable. 3 things may decide whether the momentum survives. The first is the second serve of Parks. 10 double faults in Melbourne showed where pressure can enter. Eala should attack that serve, but not treat every return as an immediate winner. Depth matters more than drama. A deep return through the center removes angles. It forces Parks to hit, while the court remains balanced. It gives Eala time to enter the rally. The goal is to make Parks serve again under pressure. One more ball, one more decision, one more chance for the rhythm to break. The second key is variation. Parks likes pace when the ball arrives at a comfortable height. Eala cannot offer the same speed and the same contact point repeatedly. She needs lower balls into the body. She needs higher balls toward the backhand. She needs late changes of direction. She needs to make Parks move sideways before allowing her to attack forward. One extra step can change the quality of the next shot. One uncomfortable contact can turn an attacking point into a neutral rally. Eala does not need to overpower Parks. She needs to prevent Parks from striking from the same position again and again. The third key is the game after the missed chance. Imagine Eala reaches breakpoint and Parks saves it with an ace. The danger is not only that the chance is gone, the danger is carrying that frustration into the next service game. That is where the reset must happen. More first serves, higher margin, a clear first pattern. No attempt to win back the previous game with one heroic shot. Parks may produce 3 brilliant minutes. Eala cannot allow those minutes to decide the next 30. That is the lesson of Melbourne. The first set did not lose the match. The adjustment after the first set decided it. Eala solved one version of Parks. Then a new version appeared. Toronto will show whether Eala can change with the match before the scoreboard moves too far. The sold-out crowd will feel every turn. An early Eala break could make Washington feel present again. An ace streak from Parks could bring Melbourne back into the stadium. Both players carry evidence that they can hurt the other. Parks owns the easier source of free points. Eala owns the more complete rally game. Parks can change the scoreboard in 3 swings. Eala can change the physical shape of a match across 20 minutes. The winner may not be the player who starts better. The winner may be the player who responds better when the first plan fails. That is why this match matters beyond one result. A young player can surprise the tour during one extraordinary week. A champion has to return 2 days later with tired legs, new expectations, and an opponent who already knows how to hurt her. If Eala loses, Washington remains historic. One Toronto result cannot erase the first WTA title for the Philippines. But if she wins, the victory proves something beyond the trophy. It proves that her level can travel. It proves that she can recover while the tour keeps moving. It proves that she can enter a new city, face an old problem, and remain the same competitor. That skill will matter far beyond Toronto. Cincinnati is coming. The US Open is coming. The attention will continue to grow. The schedules will remain unforgiving. The deeper Eala goes in tournaments, the less recovery time success will give her. That is life near the top of tennis. The reward for surviving one challenge is the faster arrival of the next one. People remember the day a player lifts a trophy. The more honest test often comes 2 days later. The stadium changes. The opponent changes. The celebration disappears. The body feels everything. Then the umpire calls time. Will Eala walk onto center court with heavy legs? Or will she arrive with the belief that nobody can stop her right now? Can she protect the next service game after a missed breakpoint? Can she choose depth over desperation? Can she adjust before one bad sequence becomes an entire set? That is what will decide the rematch. Parks wants proof that the ending in Melbourne still belongs to her. Eala wants proof that Washington changed more than her weekend. One player remembers escaping, the other remembers losing control. Now both memories are standing inside a sold-out stadium. So is this finally revenge time? Or will the 48-hour countdown collect its price before Eala can finish the job? Subscribe and stay with this run. Toronto will give us the first answer. The US Open may reveal whether it lasts.